She's obviously doing amazing. Her game speaks for itself. I think kind of needed something
This is
to
that
just
moment.
yeah, and Caitlin's that moment. And I think a lot of it has to do with her logo threes.
Sue Bird just dropped a bombshell on the WNBA. The legend herself is saying Caitlin is Rookie of the Year. No debate. But why is this such a big deal? What's got Sue Bird so convinced? Let's break down why this statement is sending shockwaves through the league. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark's college career. This girl was an absolute force at Iowa. She wasn't just putting up good numbers, she was rewriting the record books. Clark averaged over 27 points and 8 assists per game in her final season. That's not just good, that's video game numbers, but it wasn't just about the stats. Clark had this uncanny ability to make jaw-dropping plays that left everyone watching in awe. Her range was ridiculous. She'd pull up from the logo like it was nothing, and her court vision, out of this world, she'd thread passes through defenses that didn't even look possible. By the time she was done at Iowa, Clark had racked up pretty much every award you can think of. All-American, check. Big Ten Player of the Year, multiple times. National Player of the Year, you bet. She even led Iowa to the national championship game. The buzz around her was deafening before she even stepped foot on a WNBA court. And now you might be thinking, sure, she was great in college, but the WNBA is a whole different game. Well, get ready to be amazed, because Clark didn't just make the transition, she's taking the league by storm. Let's break down Clark's WNBA stats, and trust me, they're gonna blow your mind. She's not just contributing, she's leading her team in multiple categories. We're talking points, assists, steals, three-pointers, minutes played. She's dominating across the board. Clark's averaging over 18 points per game, which is impressive enough for a rookie, but it's her all-around game that's really turning heads. She's dishing out nearly 6 assists per game, showing that same incredible court vision she had in college. And get this, she's snagging over 3 rebounds per game too. For a point guard, that's huge. But here's what's really wild. Clark's not just putting up numbers, she's doing it efficiently. She's shooting over 40% from the field and nearly 90% from the free throw line. That's veteran-level consistency from a rookie. Now let's compare Clark to some other rookies. There's no doubt she's in a class of her own. Take Kelsey Mitchell, for example. Mitchell's putting up slightly higher scoring numbers, averaging just over 19 points per game. But when you look at the whole picture, Clark's impact becomes clear. Clark's not just scoring, she's creating opportunities for her teammates. Her assist numbers are off the charts for a rookie. She's running the offense like a seasoned pro, making everyone around her better. And on defense, she's already proving to be a menace, leading all rookies in steals. What sets Clark apart is her ability to impact every aspect of the game. She's not just a scorer or just a passer. She's the complete package. When she's on the court, the entire dynamics of the game change. Defenses have to account for her scoring threat, which opens up opportunities for her teammates. And on defense, her quick hands and basketball IQ make her a constant threat to create turnovers. Now, when a legend like Sue Bird speaks, everyone listens. And what she said about Caitlin Clark, it's got the whole league talking. Bird didn't just endorse Clark for Rookie of the Year, she made a statement that's shaking up the entire WNBA. Let's break down what Bird actually said. She emphasized that the eye test for Clark isn't even close. What does that mean? It means that when you watch Clark play, her impact is so obvious you don't even need to look at the stats. But Bird didn't stop there. She took it a step further with a comment that's got everyone buzzing. You know what Bird said? She joked that if Clark isn't Rookie of the Year, then the other candidate would need to be God in the flesh. Can you believe that? A WNBA legend comparing the competition to literal divinity? That's how impressed Bird is with Clark's game. But Sue Bird isn't just throwing around praise. She's breaking down Clark's game in a way only a WNBA legend can. Bird's not just looking at the numbers on the stat sheet, she's seeing things that casual fans might miss. The way Clark reads the defense, how she creates space for her teammates, the little things that don't always show up in the box score but make a huge difference on the court. Bird's emphasis on overall performance and impact during games is crucial. She's telling us that while statistics can inform decisions, they're not the whole story. It's about how a player changes the game when they're on the court, and according to Bird, Clark is changing games. You might be thinking, okay, but what about the other rookies? Are they really that far behind Clark? Well, according to Bird, it's not even close. She's saying Clark is in a league of her own this season. That's a bold statement from someone who's seen the best of the best throughout her career. Now, you might be wondering, is there tension between Clark and other WNBA players? After all, when a rookie comes in and gets this much attention, attention, it can ruffle some feathers. Well, Sue Bird has something to say about that too. Bird actually addressed this issue head on. She clarified that there's been a big misunderstanding fueled by social media. You know how things can get blown out of proportion online, right? Well, Bird says that's exactly what happened here. According to Bird, the narrative that WNBA players are upset with Clark is just plain wrong. She explained that the league is actually excited about Clark and the attention she's bringing to women's basketball. It's not about jealousy or resentment. It's about recognizing a special talent and what she can do for the sport. And think about it. Clark's success isn't just good for her, it's good for the entire WNBA. More eyes on the league mean more fans, more opportunities, and more growth for women's basketball as a whole. Bird understands this, and she's making sure everyone else does too. But let's get back to Clark's game for a second. What is it that Bird sees that makes her so confident in Clark's abilities? It's not just one thing, it's the complete package. The scoring ability, sure, but also the court vision, the leadership, the competitive drive. Bird sees a player who's not just putting up numbers, but elevating her entire team. And remember, this is coming from Sue Bird, a player who's won championships, Olympic gold medals, and pretty much every individual award you can think of. When she says a rookie is special, you know it's not just hype, it's a recognition of true talent and potential. Caitlin isn't just changing the game on the court, she's making waves that are reaching far beyond the basketball world. Her impact is so massive, it's got everyone talking, from fans to analysts to legends of the game. You heard Sue Bird's take, but she's not the only one singing Clark's praises. ESPN analyst Shan Alm dropped a bombshell when he called Clark a generational leader. That's not a term you throw around lightly in sports. It's reserved for those rare athletes who don't just excel at their game, but change the entire landscape of their sport. And boy, is Clark changing the landscape. Can you believe the impact she's having? We're talking numbers that are putting her in the same conversation as legends like Maya Moore and Candace Parker. Alm didn't hold back when he said Caitlin Clark is bringing it to new heights, exponential heights, not just in basketball, but in sports in a generation. But what does that actually mean? It means Clark isn't just filling seats in arenas. She's driving viewership and boosting business metrics across the board. She's become a pivotal figure in women's sports, and her presence is doing more than just making headlines. As Ayoum put it, she's lifting all boats in the industry. Think about that for a second. A rookie, fresh out of college, is already being compared to some of the greatest players in WNBA history, and she's not just matching their on-court performances, she's rivaling their impact on the sport as a whole. Now you might be thinking, all this hype must be going to her head, right? Wrong. When Clark got selected for the All-Star game, her response was pure class. She expressed gratitude for the opportunity, acknowledging how significant it was to have multiple players from her franchise represented. No ego, no boasting, just appreciation for the honor and recognition of her teammates. But here's where things get really interesting. With all this praise and all these accolades, you'd think the Rookie of the Year race would be a slam dunk for Clark, right? Well, not so fast. There's still a debate raging. Is Caitlin Clark really the clear choice for Rookie of the Year? Enter Monica McNutt, another respected voice in basketball analysis. McNutt acknowledges that this race is closer than some might think. She points out Angel Reese's impressive double-double streak, noting that both players have had standout seasons. McNutt didn't shy away from the complexity of the decision. She said, "The sky is right above, and the sky right now are in the playoffs." What does that mean? It means team success could play a big role in the Rookie of the Year decision. It's not just about individual stats. It's about impact on the game and contribution to team success. But here's the kicker. Even with the acknowledgement of how close the race is, McNutt ultimately leans towards Clark. Why? Because of her overall impact on the game. It's not just about points scored or rebounds grabbed, it's about how Clark changes the entire dynamic of a game when she's on the court. And that brings us full circle, doesn't it? Remember what Sue Bird said about the eye test? McNutt's analysis reinforces that. It's not just about what you see on the stat sheet, it's about what you see when you watch the game. The energy Clark brings, the way she elevates her teammates, the attention she draws from defenses. But let's zoom out for a second. This debate, this excitement, it's all good for the WNBA. Whether you're Team Clark or Team Reese, the fact that we're having these passionate discussions about rookie performances is a win for women's basketball. It's driving interest, sparking debates, and bringing more eyes to the sport.